If you like the outfit that Cadbury had on, it's by Pets on Safari. It's a woven dog shirt, large, and his collar is a 16 by 26 inch, large, extra large dog collar. For the Snapdragon pet outfit, you're going to need your 3.75mm crochet hook. You're also going to need a pair of scissors and your tapestry needle or darning needle. The yarn that I used is my Red Heart Super Saver. Here's some information on the yarn. You only need one skein of this yarn. The color is Pretty in Pink. It's a medium 4 worsted yarn, 100% acrylic. For the alternate color, I also used Red Heart Super Saver, and this color is Baby Pink. We're going to start with the back of the shirt. So you're going to take your yarn and then just fold it over on itself to form a loop. Take your crochet hook, go right through the loop, hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and your thumb, then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through that loop for a slip knot. And then just cinch the knot and the loop around the hook, the crochet hook, and then we're going to be ready to start our chain. We're going to start with a chain of 69. I'm just going to show you the first 4. You just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and then go through that loop for a chain 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead, finish a chain of 69, and then so this is what my chain looks like after I finished a chain of 69. The reason I chose a chain of 69 is because with the Snapdragon stitch, you need a multiple of 8 plus 5. So with the multiple of 8, I would have 64 stitches, and then for my Snapdragon stitch, I would also need to add 5, and that's how I came up with my chain of 69. So 64 plus 5 is 69. Now we're going to double crochet into the 5th chain from the hook. So here is the first chain, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So we're going to make a double crochet into the 5th chain from the hook. So just yarn over, bring up a loop in the 5th chain from the hook, then make your double crochet, just yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through 2 of the loops, then yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through the 2 remaining loops. Then you just completed your V-stitch on the end, which consists of your double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Now you're going to skip the next 3 stitches and then just yarn over and work 5 double crochet into the 4th stitch. So skip 3 stitches and then work 5 double crochet into the next stitch. So that was 1. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then work a V-stitch into the next stitch. So you just yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, make your double crochet, then chain 1 and make a double crochet into the same stitch. And then you just keep repeating this pattern all the way across to the end. I'm going to make one more set with you. So the first thing you're going to do is skip 3 stitches. And then I'm going to make 5 double crochet into the 4th stitch or the next stitch. So skip 3 stitches and then make 5 double crochet into the next stitch. Then you're going to skip the next 3 stitches again and then make a V-stitch into the 4th stitch. So there's my double crochet. I'm going to chain 1 and then make another double crochet into the same stitch. And then you're just going to keep repeating that pattern all the way across to the end. You skip 3 stitches, make your 5 double crochets into the next stitch, skip 3 stitches, and then make your V-stitch into the next stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So I just finished my last V-stitch into the last stitch. If you didn't work into that last stitch, then you may have done something wrong. I'm going to show you how many 5 double crochet stitches I have and how many V-stitches I have. This is how my work looks so far. And I have, counting that first V-stitch that we made, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And including that last one, I have 9. So I have 9 V-stitches. And then I have sets of 5 double crochet. This is the first one, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and 8th. So I have 8 of them. Now we're going to move up to the next row. So for the next row, we're going to start with a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to turn your work and we're going to get ready for the next row. So now you can see that the V-stitch is right here, and in the middle of that V-stitch you have your chain 1 stitch, and we're going to work right into the space below the chain 1 space. So we're going to make 2 double crochet into that chain 1 space. So just yarn over, go into that chain 1 space from the previous row's V-stitch, bring up a loop, make your double crochet, and then you're going to make 1 more double crochet into the same space, and then you're going to skip 3 stitches. So this is your first stitch, your second, and your third, and that'll bring you right to the middle stitch of your previous row's 5 double crochet set. You're going to make a V-stitch right into that middle stitch. So I made a double crochet, then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to double crochet into the same stitch. Then you're going to make 5 double crochet into the chain 1 space of the previous row's V-stitch. So you can see the V-stitch, and we're going to work right into the chain 1 space. So you can see how it's all going to line up. This pattern is always going to have a V-stitch right in the center of the previous row's set of 5 double crochet, and then you're going to have 5 double crochet into each of the chain 1 spaces of the V-stitches. So I'm going to be showing you how to do this. So we're going to make 5 double crochet into the previous row's chain 1 space of the V-stitch. So there's 1. 2. So here you can see how I have the V-stitch and the 5 double crochet. So now in the previous row's 5 double crochet set, we're going to be making a V-stitch right in the center. And remember, that would be you're skipping 3 stitches. So here's 1, 2, and 3, and that brings you right to the center of the previous row's 5 double crochet set. And then you just make your V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the same stitch. And that's how easy it is. You're going to make this pattern all the way across to the end, and then come back and I'll work the last stitch with you, but I'm going to make one more set. So I just finished the V-stitch. Now I'm going to make the 5 double crochet into the chain 1 space of the previous row's V-stitch. And this is how my work is looking so far for this second row, not counting the first chain. Then I'm going to make one more V-stitch with you and then just let you finish. So I'm going to go into the middle stitch of that set of 5 double crochet from the previous row. Chain 1. Double crochet in the same stitch, and then keep repeating. So the next one would be 5 double crochet into the chain 1 space of the previous row's V-stitch. So go ahead, keep repeating this pattern all the way across, and then come back and I'll help you work the last stitch. Now I've reached the end. This is how my work looks so far. And then I'm going to make 3 double crochet into that last space. And then this time you're going to make a chain of 4 before turning. So chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just turn your work. And the reason that we made the chain of 4 is because we're going to make a V-stitch on this end. And you know that the end, if you're making the right chain, whether it be chain 3 or chain 4, by looking at your next stitch. And since my next stitch that I'm working into on the previous row is the chain 1 space of the V-stitch, I know that I'm going to be making 5 double crochet into that stitch. And remember, we're alternating V-stitch and then 5 double crochet. So on my chain 4, I'm going to make a double crochet into the same stitch. So I'm going to yarn over, work a double crochet into the same stitch, and then I just completed my V-stitch on the end. Now I'm going to make 5 double crochet into the chain 1 space of the previous row's V-stitch. So that's 1. 2. 5 double crochet into the previous row's chain 1 space. And then you know that your next stitch is going to be a V-stitch. And again, you have your previous row's set of 5 double crochet. I'm going to go into that middle stitch, make a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet in the same stitch to complete a V-stitch. So go ahead, keep repeating the pattern all the way across, and then I'll work the last stitch with you again. Remember, we're alternating 5 double crochet and your V-stitch. So now I've made it to the end, and I'm going to work a V-stitch into the last space. So I'm going into that last space to work my V-stitch. Chain 1, double crochet. Then on this side, I'm going to be making a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to turn my work. And you can see how I made the right chain of 3 on this side, because I'm going to have a V-stitch into the next 5 double crochet set on the previous row. And then on this side, since I have a V-stitch here, I'm going to make 2 double crochet into the chain 1 space. So you're going to keep repeating this pattern, chain 3, and then 2 double crochet into the chain 1 space, and then make your V-stitch into the center stitch of the previous row's 5 double crochet set. And then once you get to the opposite side, so you'll be making a V-stitch into this one, then you're going to make 3 double crochet into this stitch, and then on this side you're going to be chaining 4, and then you're going to turn your work, and remember, you're going to have a V-stitch right here. So keep repeating this pattern until you've completed 14 rows. So far this is 1, 2, 3, and we're working on our 4th row, and we want a total of 14 rows, and then come back. This is how my work looks after finishing 14 rows. Here's a close-up of the beautiful stitch pattern that it creates. Your edges should be straight on both sides. Then, after you finish your last 3 double crochets in the last space, then you're just going to turn your work. So after you turn your work, and here I just have a knot. So your work shouldn't have a knot. So now you're going to make a double crochet into the next 4 stitches. So just yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, make your double crochet, and you're going to be making a double crochet into 4 stitches. So that was 1, 2, 3, and then I made it to my first chain 1 space of the previous row. I'm just going to go right below that chain 1 instead of trying to get into the chain 1 stitch. It's just easier. Just going to yarn over, go into that chain 1 space, bring up a loop, and make my double crochet. So for this decrease row, which means we're going to decrease the number of stitches in the row, we're going to make what's called a double crochet decrease stitch. So you're going to yarn over, you're going to go into the next stitch, you're going to bring up a loop, you have 3 loops on the hook, go ahead and yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through 2 of the loops, then you have 2 loops remaining on your hook, go ahead and yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, you have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through 2 of the loops, you have 3 loops remaining on the hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and go through all 3 for a double crochet decrease stitch. And that's the pattern that we're going to make all across. So you're going to make 1 double crochet into 4 stitches. There's 1. 2. 3. 4. Then you're going to make your double crochet decrease stitch. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over, go through 2 of the loops, yarn over, and since I have a chain 1 space, I'm just going to go into the chain 1 space instead of trying to get into the chain 1. Bring up a loop. Then I'm just going to yarn over and go through all 3 to complete the double crochet decrease stitch. Then you just keep repeating that pattern all the way across except for the last stitch. Leave the last stitch unworked and then come back. I made 1 double crochet into any remaining stitches, and now I have 1 stitch left. I'm going to go ahead and make a slip stitch into that last stitch. So I'm going to go into the top stitch of that last stitch. I'm going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and then just bring the yarn through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Now you can just turn your work, and we're going to make a double crochet into the next stitch over. So just yarn over, go into that next stitch, bring up a loop, make your double crochet. Then we're going to skip 3 stitches and then make 5 double crochet into that 4th stitch. Then you're going to skip 3 stitches and then make a V-stitch into that 4th stitch. So this is going to be the Snapdragon stitch row. Just 1 row of the Snapdragon stitch. Chain 1 and then make a double crochet. Then you're going to repeat that pattern all the way across. When you get towards the end, come back and I'll finish the end with you. So you're going to skip 3 stitches and then make 5 double crochet into the same stitch, skip 3 stitches, and then make your double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the same stitch. And keep doing that all the way across, and then come back. So this is how my work looks across the top. And then I have 4 stitches left after making a V-stitch. Now I'm going to skip 2 stitches, make 2 double crochet into that 3rd stitch, and then I'm just going to slip stitch into the last stitch. Then you're just going to turn your work, and you're going to make a double crochet into the next stitch over. So just yarn over, go into the next stitch over, bring up a loop, make your double crochet. Then you're just going to make another decrease row. So for this decrease row, again, you're going to make 1 double crochet into 4 stitches. So this counts as my first double crochet. I'm going to make my second double crochet into the next stitch, 3rd double crochet into the 3rd stitch. Then I'm going to make my 4th double crochet. This is the chain 1 space of the previous row. Then I'm going to make my decrease stitch. So you can see you're creating a curve. This is going to be the back side of the pet outfit. So again, for the decrease stitch, it's a double crochet decrease stitch. So go ahead, finish 1 double crochet into 4 stitches, and then make your double crochet decrease stitch, repeating this pattern all the way across, and then come back when you get to the end, and then I'll show you how to finish the last few stitches. Now I'm at the end. I have 4 stitches left. I just finished a decrease stitch, so I'm going to make 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And then I'm going to make a slip stitch into the next stitch. Then you're going to go ahead and turn your work. Make a double crochet into the next stitch over. Then you're going to skip 3 stitches, make 5 double crochet into that 4th stitch, and then this is going to be the snapdragon stitch row. Then you're going to skip 3 stitches and then make your double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So keep repeating your snapdragon stitch all the way across and then come back. So now I finished my 5 double crochet into the previous stitch, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left. So I'm going to skip 3 of those stitches and then just make a slip stitch into that last stitch. Then go ahead and just finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then at the back of the outfit you could see the slight curve on the back, which is what I wanted. Then you're going to take and bury your loose yarn end. Take the loose yarn end, put it onto your tapestry needle, and then you're just going to weave it through the wrong side of the work. Just kind of bury it towards the wrong side of the work. And just cut the loose yarn end. So now make sure that your right side is facing up. This is the bottom curve that we just finished. You're going to take and place 2 yarn markers on the top back portion of your work. So you're going to count in 10 stitches from the right and then place the yarn marker in the 11th stitch. And you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Count in 10 stitches and place your yarn marker in the 11th stitch. Then on the right side, you're going to take and remove the yarn marker, place your crochet hook into that same stitch. You're going to grab the same colored yarn, bring up a loop, chain 1, and then go ahead and tie a knot. Just leave the loose yarn end for now. We're not going to bury it as we work. You're going to make a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. You're going to skip 3 stitches and then make 5 double crochet into that 4th stitch. Then you're going to skip 3 stitches and then make your V-stitch into the 4th stitch. And you're going to repeat the snapdragon stitch all the way across until you get to the few stitches before your next yarn marker. So right before your next yarn marker, come back and I'll show you how to finish the last few stitches and then turn your work. So this is how my work looks. I started from this side and I just finished a V-stitch. I have 4 stitches left. I'm going to go ahead and make 5 double crochet stitches into that 4th stitch. So I'm skipping 3. I finished with a V here, so I'm going to skip 3 and make 5 double crochet into the yarn marker stitch. So here I just finished my V-stitch. I have 4 stitches left. I'm just going to show you from where we started. So here we skipped the 10 stitches, joined, and then made our snapdragon stitches across. I finished with a V. Now I have 4 stitches left. Now I'm going to make 3 double crochet into that. Skip 3 stitches and then make 3 double crochet into the stitch with the yarn marker. I'm going to go ahead and remove the yarn marker. And then I'm going to make 3 double crochet into that same stitch. And then we're ready to move up to the next row. Now to move up to the next row, you're going to chain 4. and then turn your work. And since our next stitch is going to be the V-stitch, we're going to make another double crochet into the same stitch to complete our first V-stitch for the row. And then we're going to make 5 double crochet into that V-stitch, or the chain 1 space. And then you're ready to complete your row of the Snapdragon stitch. So you know that the next stitch will be your V-stitch right at the top, middle portion of the previous row's 5 double crochet. So go ahead, repeat this pattern all the way across. When you get to the last stitch, come back and I'll help you work the last stitch and turn for the next row. So here you can see that this is what my work looks like on the end. I just finished a V-stitch. I'm going to go ahead and finish 3 double crochet into this space between the initial chain 3 and the 5 double crochet. You can see how it forms a little triangle right there. I'm going to work into that space. So I'm going to make 3 double crochet into that space. So you can see how this is a little bit different from what we did in the main part of the back portion of the pet outfit, because when we move up to the next row, we know that we're going to be working 5 double crochet into the V-stitch. So we're going to make a V-stitch to start. So you're going to go ahead and chain 4. And that will count as your first double crochet and chain 1. Go ahead and turn your work. Then you're going to make a double crochet into the same stitch. And that completes your V-stitch to start. And then we're going to make our 5 double crochet into the chain 1 space of the previous row's V-stitch. And then you're going to repeat this Snapdragon stitch pattern, repeating the same process until you've completed 7 rows. So then your next one will be a V-stitch. So keep repeating this process until you've completed 7 rows. So right now we just completed 1 row, 2 rows, and this is the 3rd row. So you need 7 rows for this top portion on the back panel, and then come back. I just finished 7 rows, and this is what mine looks like. Here's the right, where I skipped the 10 stitches. Here I have my 7 rows, and then the opposite side where I skipped 10 stitches. So you can see how you should have a straight edge. You should have completed 7 rows. And then when you're finished with your last 3 double crochet for that row, I'm just going to give you a close-up of my edge. Then go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and then pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. Then you can go ahead and just set your back panel aside for now. I just wanted to let you know that the back panel measures 14 inches from top to bottom and then 16 inches in width. Now I'm going to show you how to make the front, left, and right panel. They're both made the exact same way. Go ahead and grab the same colored yarn that you were using. We're going to make our slip stitch. Go ahead and fold it over to form a loop. Put the crochet hook right through the loop. Hold the base of the loop with your middle finger and thumb. Then just yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through the loop for a slip knot. Go ahead and cinch it down. Then we're going to make a chain. I'm just going to show you 4 of them, but you're going to make a chain of 37. So yarn over, go through the loop for 1, 2, 3, and 4. So go ahead, finish a chain of 37, and then come back. We're going to make a double crochet into the 5th chain from the hook. So just yarn over, go into the 5th chain from the hook, bring up a loop, make your double crochet, and then you completed your first V-stitch. So chain 3, chain 1, double crochet. So this counts as your double crochet, chain 1, and then double crochet for your V-stitch. Then you're going to skip 3 stitches and then make 5 double crochet into the 4th stitch. Then you should be good as far as knowing what to do next. I'll go ahead and finish this with you to get you started. So this is what my work looks like so far. I'm going to skip 3 stitches and then make my V-stitch into the 4th stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same stitch. And then you're going to repeat this pattern all the way across and then come back. So I just finished my last stitch with a V-stitch. I'm just going to go ahead and count these initial stitches with you. So my first V-stitch I started with, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 V-stitches, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochet stitches. Then I know that on my second row of Snapdragon stitches I'm going to be making a V-stitch over the previous row's 5 double crochet into the same stitch. So my initial chain is going to be a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and turn my work. Then I'm going to make 2 double crochet into the chain 1 space of my previous row's V-stitch. Then I'm going to make a V-stitch into the middle of the previous row's 5 double crochet. So go ahead, finish making your Snapdragon stitches all the way across to the end, and then come back, and then I'll work that last stitch with you and then help you turn to the next row. I'm just going to finish this last 5 double crochet and then show you what my work looks like so far. So now I've reached the end and I finished a V-stitch. The previous row has a V-stitch on the end. I'm going to make 3 double crochet into that space. This is what my work looks like. Now I know that in this V-stitch I'm going to be making 5 double crochet into that chain 1 space, so I'm going to need a V-stitch to start. So I'm going to make a chain of 4. I'm going to turn my work, make a double crochet into the same stitch, then I've completed a V-stitch on the end. Now I'm going to make 5 double crochet into the V-stitch, or the chain 1 space. So you're going to keep repeating this pattern until you've completed 4 rows, and then come back. So 4 rows. So far we have 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and finish 4 rows and then come back. A total of 4 rows, not 4 more. You only want a total of 4 rows. I just finished 4 rows of the Snapdragon stitch. Then I took and placed a yarn marker. This is my first, second, third V-stitch from the left, where I just finished. Just place a yarn marker in that chain 1 space, or through the chain 1 stitch. That's the point where you're going to be turning. So you're going to leave these remaining stitches unworked. So now I'm going to go back to where I left off, and again I'm just going to repeat this. You have a V-stitch in the previous row, so we're going to be placing 5 double crochet in there. So we're going to start with a V-stitch. So we're going to start with a chain of 4. Turn your work. Make a double crochet into the same stitch. Then you're going to make 5 double crochet into the V-stitch. So go ahead, make your Snapdragon stitches across to the yarn marker, and then come back and I'll work that last stitch with you and show you how to turn your work. So this is what my work looks like so far, and I've reached the V-stitch with my yarn marker. So I'm going to place 3 double crochet into that chain 1 space. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the yarn marker. Then you already know whether it's going to be a chain 3 or a chain 4, because I have the V-stitch right here, which is the stitch I'm going to place 5 double crochet in. So I'm going to start with a chain of 4 because I'm going to make a V-stitch on this end. So chain 4, turn your work, make a double crochet into the same stitch, then you're going to make 5 double crochet into the next stitch, and then you're just going to keep repeating until you've completed 9 rows. So you want 9 rows. This is how my work looks so far. You can see that I finished 9 rows. Now we're going to make a chain of 9. I'm just going to show you this edge here. You can see how I finished up on the 9th row. Now we're going to make a chain of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Go ahead and turn your work. We're going to get ready to work back across this chain of 9. Now you're going to take your crochet hook and you're going to go into the 5th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to make 5 double crochet into that stitch. Just yarn over and then make 5 double crochet into the same stitch. and then come back. Then, after you finish those 5 double crochet into the same stitch, you're going to work a V-stitch onto the side of that panel that you made. So here you have 3 double crochet. You're going to work into that top stitch of that first double crochet. So go ahead and yarn over, work a double crochet into that top stitch, chain 1, and then double crochet into the same stitch. And then that will line you up to work your snapdragons into, so they line up with the panel. So now you're going to make your 5 double crochet into the previous row's V-stitch. And this is how your work looks so far. Now you're going to make a V-stitch into the top middle stitch of the previous row's 5 double crochet. And then when you reach the end, continue your snapdragon stitches. When you reach the end, come back, and then I'll help you turn to the next row. So here you can see I finished with the V-stitch. So I'm going to make 3 double crochet into the space on the end. And I'm going to be making 5 double crochet into the previous row's V-stitch. So I'm going to chain 4 on the end. Turn my work, make a double crochet into the same stitch to complete the V-stitch on the end, and then I'm going to make 5 double crochet into the V-stitch. So go ahead, finish making your snapdragon stitches across, and then come back. Now I just finished my last row. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So here I finished the V-stitch and then 3 double crochets into that last space. Then you're going to take a yarn marker and then place it into the second V-stitch, because this is the stitch where we're going to turn our work. So we're going to make a short 3 rows of snapdragon stitches. So for our first row, you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn your work. Make a double crochet into the same stitch. Five double crochet into the chain 1 space of the previous row's V-stitch. And when you get to the yarn marker, come back and I'll help you turn. This is how my work looks so far. And I've made it to the yarn marker. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that yarn marker. I'm going to make 3 double crochet into that chain 1 space. Then I'm going to go ahead and chain 4, turn my work, make a double crochet into the same stitch, and then 5 double crochet into the V-stitch. So go ahead, finish making your snapdragon stitches and then completing a total of 3 rows. So we're on our second row, so you just need 1 more. After you finish your 3rd row, go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull enough yarn through to bury into your work. So I just want to show you the measurements. This bottom portion measures 8 inches, and then I have 10.5 inches in length. Go ahead and make 2 of these. You need a total of 2 for the front left and right panel. They're made the exact same way. After you finish the front left and right panels, go ahead and bury your loose yarn ends. Just take your tapestry needle and then just take and weave the loose yarn end through your work, and then go ahead and cut it.